Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Luna. I'm an independently published fantasy author and small business owner. I create fantasy-inspired, customizable reading journals called the Bookish Buddy and other bookish-inspired goodies. In today's video, I'm going to be actioning phase 1 of the Bookish Buddy relaunch, and I would love for you to come along on this mini adventure with me. Okay, so it is currently Friday morning and the relaunch is happening a week tomorrow. So I've got just over a week to get my ducks in a row and get myself all organised, ready for the relaunch, which I can totally do. We've got time. There's about 3 tasks I think that I need to get done. The first of which is going to be to download all of the individual pages from my Canva file. I design the pages in Procreate, so all the images that are in there are designed by me, and then I load them into Procreate so that I can do all the fonts and things because I can't draw fonts to save my life, so I use Canva fonts for that. So I need to download all those individual files and separate them into the different bundles and things like that so that they are ready to go on Etsy and on my website. The second thing that I need to do is create the listing images ready for Etsy and my website. I've already created like a template for those. I just need to write out what's included in each bundle and copy across any of the images that I want to use of the pages that are included in each bundle. And then the third thing that I want to do is I want to actually print out some of the pages. So first of all, to test that they actually print out okay. And then I also want to do some photography of like a flat lay of some of the pages that I can use on social media. I might even colour some in to show what they look like being used and things like that, just so that I've got a bit more content to put out there ready for the launch. So I think today what I'm going to focus on is getting all the images downloaded and separating them up into their own little files on my computer so that they're all ready to be listed, because I'm going to need those files saved to my computer to then use them in the listing images that I'm making and so that I can print them out from my computer. So let's get started. So it is now Saturday and I've been working on copying the files over from Canva onto my laptop, ready for creating the bundles that I can use for my listings on Etsy and on my website. But I've come across a little bit of a conundrum. When I wrote out the list of the things that I wanted to include in these bundles, one of the things was some colouring pages, and in the initial relaunch of the digital pages, I was just going to use some of the original colouring pages from the original Bookish Buddy. However, having revisited those files, a lot of them are quite contemporary and don't really fit with the fantasy vibe anymore. And the ones that do, I actually kind of want to use those in some of the future releases, which are going to be more themed. And I think that those covering pages work better with the theme than they will do with the initial relaunch of the coloring pages. Sorry, I had to stop filming for a minute there because one of the neighbour's dogs was barking and the microphone was picking up. I'm going to get one of those little fluffy handheld ones, but anyway, it's fine. I can go back to my iPad. I've still got time to come up with a couple of new designs. I think that 3 is a really good number of colouring pages to have in each theme, and so I need 2 new ones to include in the initial relaunch of the digital pages, and then I can manage the rest of the colouring pages for the other themes moving forwards at a later date. Okay, so this is what I'm working with. This was one of the original colouring pages from the 2026 Bookish Buddy. It's just a trio of book stacks in like a repeating pattern. I think that's going to work fine with the relaunch and the new sort of theme. And then the other 2 that I'm now going to draw out is this one, which is like a treehouse library. So we're going to have a winding staircase and a little balcony, a little light up here, and some bookshelves and stacks floated about. The only thing I need to make sure I'm careful of is not to make this too wide, because I want this to be able to be used in a ring binder style journal as well. And the third one I want to do is this one, which is just a simple book stack. I love drawing a good book stack, and this one has an open book on top with some sparkles around it. And I just thought the line Once Upon a Time was a really good fit for this, as this is going to be the first set of colouring pages in the new relaunch, in the rebranding. I'm going to use my branded font up here, which I'm going to have to put this into Canva for, and I might even do one of those like fancy O's, you know, like the medieval style ones up there. So that's what we're working with. Hi friends, okay, so it is now Monday. I managed to get all of the files bar some of the colouring pages downloaded in PNG format over the weekend. I also got the Once Upon a Time colouring page finished. I will put it up here. I also managed to get the graphics done ready for the Etsy listings and to go on my website. So the only thing I've really got left to do is the Treehouse Library colouring page, which shouldn't take me too long. It's just that it's a bit more of a complex design. And I also need to do the flat lay photography for some social media posts. And I want to switch it up a little bit today because I don't want to spend another day sat by my iPad. I did some chores and some errands and things this morning, and I've got about 3 hours until my partner comes home from work. So I've decided I'm going to do some test prints of the Buddy pages so that I can do the flat lay photography and imagery for that. And I might even try and colour some of them in and actually use them to show them being used for some short format footage for TikTok and Instagram. And then we're going to crack on and do the photo flat lays for them. So come and join me. So I've just finished colouring in the This Journal Belongs To and 3 Stack of Books colouring page, and I'm really glad I tested this page because I don't know if you can see here, but my printer actually doesn't print all the way to the end of the page. So I think I'm going to have to redesign that one so that the books actually stop at the top and the bottom. Either side isn't too bad, that's absolutely fine because I need to leave enough margin for hole punching it anyway. And I have one other page in the collection which is a round the world challenge, and I've drawn a map for that, and that goes right to the edge on all 4 sides of the page. So I might have to redesign that so that it is condensed slightly, just so that when the margin prints it doesn't look kind of wonky like that. But now that those are coloured in and I've got some of the others printed, I'm going to go and do some flat lays. don't know where this week has gone. It is rushing by, but I am... I'm sorry. It is now Wednesday and I don't know where this week is going. It is rushing by so fast, but I am really excited for the launch on Saturday. So far, it's now Wednesday. Dexter has some things to say about that. It is now Wednesday and I do not know where this week is going. It is rushing by so quickly, but I am so excited for the launch of the digital pages for the Bookish Buddy. So far, I've managed to photograph all the flat lays of the pages that I test printed. I have also managed to do the majority of the graphics ready for the Etsy and website listings. I've got a few gaps of the pages that I haven't finished yet or that need editing, and I also need to do the single pages. That's basically just going to be a copy and paste exercise. I can just create one template and reuse it for every single page, but that feels a little bit tedious and I'm putting that off until the last minute. It is a bit of a weird day in terms of weather. It's been really sunny one minute and then tipping down with rain the next. I have seen quite a few rainbows though, so that's nice, but it's the perfect day to stay in and be creative. So I think today is going to be an iPad day. I want to get the Treehouse library drawn, and I also want to edit the Trio book stack that I test printed a couple of days ago, because I realised that the margins, when I print them, cut off the top and the bottom of the image. So I want to make sure that it sits within those margins. And I'm really glad that I did that test print before I draw the Treehouse library, so then I can make sure that that fits within the margins as well. I was planning on having the roots and the branches reach to the very edge of the page, but now that I know that that'll get cut off for printing, I'm going to change the design up a little bit. So I thought I'd film this real quickly while I have a little bit of sunshine, even though the lighting is still a bit terrible in here. But good news, I have ordered a tripod with a light and a little fuzzy microphone, so I'm hoping that the video quality moving forwards once those arrive is going to be better. I also thought that it would be really interesting to do a video about the equipment that I'm using as a startup small business. I watch quite a lot of small business content here on YouTube, and it's so lovely to see all these fancy aesthetic studio vlogs with all the fancy pants equipment and everything's all colour coordinated and beautifully laid out, and I'm just not there yet. And so I thought it would be quite an interesting video to do, to run through the things that I do have, the things that I do use. I don't have a studio and I'm using mostly secondhand equipment. So I thought it would be quite interesting to do that as a video for you guys. I will link it below once I've recorded it, and it will come out in the next couple of weeks. But for now, I'm going to make myself a nice herbal tea, get settled on the sofa with my dog, probably put some Netflix on in the background and get drawing. So I'm currently sat here on my sofa watching Last Kingdom and working on the Treehouse library colouring page, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to introduce you to Dexter. You heard him earlier in the video barking at me and howling when I was trying to record, and I thought now would be a really good opportunity to introduce you. So this is Dexter. He's my senior pug and he's almost 13 years old. He is my constant companion and my little shadow, and I honestly wouldn't be without him. He loves nothing more than to snuggle up on the sofa with me like this. He does have to be on a blanket like this because he is a senior pug and he does have the occasional accident, so this is just to make sure he can still get his mummy cuddles. Okay, it is now Friday and I don't know where this week has gone. It is rushing by and we have the launch happening tomorrow. I did receive my new tripod with the ring light and fuzzy little microphone yesterday, but yesterday was a bit of a wild one and I did not have the foresight to plug any of it into charge overnight, and so we've got up this morning, nothing is charged, so I can't use it yet. I'm hoping it's all going to be charged. I've only got the one USB charging plug, but I'm hoping that it's all going to be set up and ready to go for tomorrow. So hopefully this is the last rubbishly lit, poor quality sound element of the video and future videos that you're ever going to see. In other news, I am a little bit behind schedule for the launch. I had a bit of a meltdown and decided that I absolutely hated the Once Upon a Time colouring page that I did. I then brainstormed it with my partner and she gave me a few suggestions and I ended up redrawing it and it now looks like this. I'm a lot happier with it now and I feel a lot more confident moving forwards and putting all three of these colouring pages out as part of the launch, but that did set me back a few hours. I also had a bit of a brain fog moment and, like I said in a previous clip, I needed to convert all of the PNG files into additional PDF files because I'm offering both as part of the download, and I was doing them one at a time by putting the PNG file into a Word document and then saving the Word document as a PDF file, which was taking forever, very tedious. And then I realised that I could just download all of the files directly from Canva in PDF format. So I was about 15 pages in before I made that connection. It was a long day yesterday, my brain wasn't braining, but we have all of the PDFs now ready to go. So the only thing that I really need to do is literally list everything and create all of the sort of listing paragraphs and things. I personally think I'm going to be able to mostly copy and paste a lot of that. Dexter has now decided that this is the perfect time to drink his entire water bowl. So I'm going to have to pause for a second until he finishes and then I'll be right back. Okay, Dexter's done having a drink. So as I was saying, the only things I've really got left to do is create the listings, or finish creating them. I have done a lot of them, and physically list them on Etsy and my website. As far as I know, there isn't a way of listing them on Etsy with like a go live date. I think maybe I could list them but have them inactive and then activate them all tomorrow. I'm going to look into that. I did look on the help page for Wix, which is the provider I use for my website, and according to them I can do password protected pages, which include shop pages. So I think I should be able to list all the items on my website and have it password protected so nobody can go in until midday. So I think that's what I'm going to do, so that I've got everything listed in at least one place and then I can turn that all on at midday tomorrow. Not that I'm expecting to have like a sudden flood of traffic onto my website and a ton of sales. If anything, I'm not expecting any, only because this is sort of the pre-launch, I guess. The digital pages aren't really my main focus with the Bookish Buddies. The big focus is going to be the physical journals when they come out, but this is just kind of the preliminary run, the warm-up. So this is just me getting used to batch loading things on Etsy and my own website and making sure that I'm telling people about the launches and just getting used to doing it that way, because it's completely different to how I've done it before. And then the next round of launches are going to be more focused on the physical products. So yeah, that is my plan for the rest of the day, is to get the listings as done as possible ready for tomorrow. I do obviously have a few hours before the launch in the morning tomorrow, and I don't think that's going to be super exciting to film or for you guys to watch. So I guess I will get cracking and I will see you tomorrow for the digital Bookish Buddy launch. Okay, good morning my friends. Wait, I can do this better. Much better. Now I have you a little bit closer, I've got the ring light going, I've got my little microphone on, I start to feel like a real YouTuber. So it is now Saturday morning, it is the day of the launch. Today's the day. And we've had some challenges, my friends. We have had some challenges in the last 24 hours, let me tell you. So the first thing was I was watching another small business YouTube video, and it was around, how to list things effectively on Etsy, just to make sure that I was on the right track. And one of the things I hadn't realised about listing on Etsy is that they have a cap on how large a file can be, and it's only 20 megabytes. And the Bookish Buddy Digital Bundle that has 57 pages in it and has 2 of each because there's PNG and PDF of it is something like 13,000 megabytes. So yeah, they weren't going to let me upload that. So we have a workaround for that. That's fine. I've created a Google Drive folder and put all the documents in there, and then the file that somebody will get if they purchase the bundle is basically going to be a single page with a link to the Google Drive file. So that's fine. We got around that, but that was extra work I wasn't expecting to have to do. The second challenge that I had was with the website, because I don't know if I'm just not cut out for managing my own website, or if the interface through Wix is just terrible, because I could not get the website to do what I wanted it to do. I tried so hard. I had in my mind, my vision was to have a landing page when you go into the shop and have, this is the sort of portal for the books, like the Lunar Day books, and this is the portal for the Bookish Buddy stuff, to kind of separate the two, because otherwise the books are going to get just pushed right down to the bottom of the listings on the products page if everything's all just mushed in together. But apparently I can't do that, or I couldn't find out how to do that. I tried several times. At one point I thought I deleted all of my stock off of my shop, and I was just sat at my desk crying. However, I did find a way to set a category list down the side. So I've broken all the products into categories. I've even done it so that each series of books that I have has its own category, and I've done Bookish Buddy Digital and Bookish Buddy Physical, ready for when the physical launches happen. So now if somebody goes onto the shop, they can select from the category on the end, but the main page when you first land there still has everything all mushed together. I'll figure that out at a later date. I don't have time to figure that out now, but it's better than nothing. I also managed to find the add to cart widget, I think it's called, so that you can go through the listings and add as you go, rather than open up each listing, add to cart, takes you to the cart, and then you have to kind of figure out how to backtrack into the shop. I'm just thinking for digital pages, if somebody wants to buy like 2 or 3 digital pages, it's going to be a nightmare if you have to keep going in and out of the cart. So I fixed that, so it's fine. And challenges are sent to test us. They're a learning opportunity. I have learnt a lot in the last 24 hours. So we are still behind. We are still behind, but it's fine. The 12 o'clock launch time is a self-imposed goal because, as I said earlier in the video, I honestly don't think there's going to be a mad rush for these digital pages. If anything, I'm expecting crickets. So if it doesn't all happen by 12 o'clock, it doesn't all happen by 12 o'clock. It's not the end of the world. I just still would like to have it all done today. My goal is to at least have the bundles available on both my website and Etsy by 12 o'clock, because I have around 60 listings to put on each place. So 60 on my website, 60 on Etsy. And that's going to take some time. That is going to take some time. I can start with my website because I did find a way to list an item but not show it on the online store. So I can list those and they're not there until 12 o'clock, and I can just go through and tick them all as active and to show on the website at 12 o'clock. So that's fine. And then Etsy, I'm just going to have to wait until 12 o'clock, I guess. I mean, I don't really, because like I said, I don't think anyone's going to show up anyway. But we're manifesting that this is just the first step. This is just the first step of many. I am on day 1 of this adventure, really. I really feel like this is just the foundation. So this is kind of like, this is just the things that need to be there in the background. Does that make sense? Like, my focus isn't the digital pages, but they're essential part of what I'm trying to build here. So once they're done, and I don't want to say out of the way because it's not a task that I'm not enjoying. I've really enjoyed creating all these digital pages, but my excitement is mostly for the physical pages and the physical journals when they launch. So this is just kind of like the first step on the adventure. I've literally just opened my front door and I am on my way. I am leaving on an adventure. This is day one. Like, we got a long way to go, and I'm here for that, and I'm really excited for the journey and for the adventure, and this is just day one. So it's, let me have a look, gone 9:30. It's a lot later than I planned to start. But I am going to get locked in. I'm going to try and get all the listings done on my website before 12 o'clock. And then once it hits 12 o'clock, I'm then going to start on all the Etsy stuff. I suspect I'm going to be here all day listing things on both my website and Etsy. But this is all part and parcel of what I want to be doing. This is why I'm here. So let's get cracking. Okay, it is entirely possible I have now lost the plot. I started listing everything, and I had originally planned to have all the listings in my kind of branded green color, and the listings just all kind of merged into one. It looked like a hot mess. So I may have decided to redo like 80% of the listings in a mixture of the brand colors that I've chosen, just so that when they're listed, they kind of, it's just more aesthetic. It just looks way better. It has set me really far behind. It is now 11:30 and I still didn't even have all the listings done. Um, but it's fine. I'm going to have the ultimate bundle listed on both Etsy and my website come 12 o'clock. And then I'm just going to spend the rest of the day uploading the rest. I can take my time with it. There is literally no rush. I'm just stressing myself out for no reason. But I just thought I'd give you guys a little update because that's where I'm at. I'm about 60% of the way through recoloring a load of the pages. Luckily, I can just kind of copy and paste and just change the color panels. But yeah, it's taken me a minute to do that. But I just think it's going to look so much better when you look at the whole listing page to have them not all the exact same color, but they're all the exact same layout. So it's going to be really neat, but also aesthetically pleasing. So hopefully that's going to look way better, and I will show you guys when I'm done. Okay, the time has come. It is now 12 o'clock. There is nobody on my website, which I expected. I'm not surprised by that at all. But that doesn't matter because I set myself the goal of launching this at 12 o'clock today, and I'm here to do that. I haven't managed to list as many things as I wanted, but I'm still here. I'm going to launch the bundle now and spend probably the rest of the day loading up all the smaller bundles and the rest of the single pages. And I'm also going to pop over to Etsy and get those listed as well. And I will come back when it's all done. Hello, friends. It is Sunday evening. It is 5 o'clock on Sunday. And let me tell you that this launch has not gone to plan, and I am tired. Your girl's tired. However, it is done now. Everything is listed. I'm super happy with the way everything looks, and I am ready for a nap. So let me just fill you in on the last few things that finished me off this weekend. I massively underestimated how much time it would take me to list everything. I calculated it and timed myself, and in the end, I was averaging 10 listings an hour, and I had over 100 listings. So you do the maths on that one. It took me forever. I also had some issues with Etsy, as I think I said in my previous clip, whereby some of the files were just too big to list as the PNG and PDF files. So I had to do a Google folder for them instead, and then create like a landing page that would then have a link to it so that people could follow the link to get to the Google Drive. I also discovered that Etsy have this really weird calculation system for when you put the price on products when you list them. I set the price exactly the same on my Etsy as I did on my website, yet on Etsy it's showing as more expensive. So they kind of add like a sales tax or something on top of it. And I've tried to figure out how to get it all to match up and I can't. So just a heads up, if you are interested in Bookish Buddy products, I would use my website rather than Etsy because Etsy are charging more for them, even though I've set it as the same price as my website. However, everything is now listed, and I'm really pleased that I went back and changed some of the colorways so that there's a real sort of mix of brand colors. I'm really pleased with the way things look on both my website and on my Etsy, and everything is now live. So I am completely done with this digital launch. It's been a learning curve, and there have been quite a lot of challenges. But as I've said already, challenges are sent to test us, and I've learned a bunch, and I'm still really excited. Have there been any sales? No, but I wasn't expecting there to be any. And again, as I've said before, my primary focus here is the physical journals and the accessories that go along with them. So now that the footwork is done, I've laid the foundation, the digital pages are available, I can focus all my energy on the physical products now. So I'm still super excited for this. I am probably going to spend the rest of my day relaxing now. I will either be reading, or I may go and play some Fortnite with my partner because she's just left me alone all weekend because I've been a bit of a stressy mess. And I'm also going to have some dinner, and then I will be ready tomorrow to start working on the physical stuff. So I'm going to end this vlog here. And then next week will be a bit of a mixed bag because I have an author event on Friday, which I need to do some prep work for. And I'm also super excited to get stuck in onto the physical Bookish Buddies, which I will tell you all about in my next video. So thank you so much for joining me for my launch of the Bookish Buddy digital pages. If you've enjoyed it, please pop a like. And if you're excited to come along on the rest of this journey with me, I would love a subscribe. It tells YouTube that you are enjoying what I'm putting out, and it shows me to other people. So I would really appreciate that as well. In the meantime, I hope you have a magical week and some even more magical reading experiences. I hope all your reads are 5 stars, and I will see you next time.